What is going on, guys? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wow, crazy reaction to, honestly, crazy reaction to recycled news. The DeepSeek news was not brand new. I talked about it in my video from yesterday. But yeah, I mean, crazy reaction here, mostly with NVIDIA. But as I said in that video, the way that NVIDIA goes is the way that the market will go. So you're seeing, the NASDAQ was down over 4%, now down 3.5%. But if you look at some of the other stocks that are non-tech that I was looking at, for instance, Costco, still intact, right? This is a name that I'm looking to long here, or that I am long, right? 939 closed on Friday, 936 trading at the open. If you look at Uber, for instance, right, it was trading at 68 on Friday, trading at 67 today. So the non-tech market is actually holding up pretty well. It's really just the tech names. So if you look at, obviously, NVIDIA went from 142 to 126. Google went from 200 to 193. Tesla's not that bad, still trading at 393. Apple, basically unchanged. AMD, obviously the advanced money destroyer, is going to be down. Amazon down. So any name that is really involved heavily in AI is down. I think some of these are buying opportunities in the short term. I don't know why Meta would be down, for instance, right? So let's talk about this real quick. But NVIDIA, they sell the chips that are the backbone of AI R&D, right? But if the narrative is that AI is now more efficient, which I don't believe the DeepSeek story, but let's leave that aside. If the idea is that AI is more efficient and therefore Meta, Amazon, etc., Google are going to be spending less and doing more with AI, that means that their CapEx, right, their capital expenditures, especially on the AI front, is going to decrease. So if their expenses are going to decrease and their output is going to increase, isn't that better for their stocks? So I think stocks like that are an easy short-term buy. Like I said in my video, like I said in previous videos, I don't think that this is going to be an easy market in 2025. If all you know how to do is long stuff, I think you're going to get destroyed in 2025. There will be buying opportunities a lot, and that is awesome, especially for those of you that haven't been able to get involved with the market at all-time highs. I think there will be a ton of buying opportunities, but if you're trading short-term plays, I think if all you're thinking is buy calls, you're going to get destroyed 1,000%. Now, I'm glad to see the VIX shooting up. For those of you that joined me on the live Friday, I explained my thesis for buying VIX calls, and then I went ahead and bought VIX calls in the Discord, right? Buying some VIX calls here, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't because of DeepSeek, but it was because of the fact that this week we have FOMC and we have earnings. Right, we have a ton of earnings this week, and we have FOMC, and the fact that the VIX was just hovering at 14 very quietly, which is the base really since November. Right, this has been the base since November, so the norm since November. The fact that it was hovering quietly at 14, and the fact that the spread between VVIX and VIX was so high. Right, so if you look at VVIX over VIX, and I'll explain what this is in a second, that was climbing, right? Now, obviously dropped because the VIX spiked. So there's an inverse relationship between this and the VIX. But when this is climbing, the spread between VVIX and VIX, and the VIX is at a base level, and you're coming into a week where you're already expecting fireworks with regards to FOMC, as well as Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, ASML, Lam Research, IBM, Intel, they all report earnings this week. So you couple that with that, as well as the fact that Trump already said that he's going to go after the Fed before their first Fed meeting under his administration. For me, the VIX was oddly quiet and was an easy buy. So, I got a funny comment this morning in the Discord. It was obviously tongue in cheek, but I got a funny comment saying, do you have any relations with China and their AI programs? You couldn't have timed the VIX play any better. And really, I can't say that I bought the VIX calls because I thought that the DeepSeek news would be recycled and overhyped on the weekend. I bought it because of the fact that VVIX and VIX spread was so wide, with the VIX at a base level coming into a week where the last time FOMC happened, we saw a 74% spike in the VIX. It was just an asymmetrical opportunity, really protecting my portfolio. So the VIX is now up 40% today. It did give back a little bit. Market hasn't opened yet. Excited to see what those calls will open at. I have the 15 calls, so already $5 in the money if the VIX stays at this level. Now, are there opportunities here? Yes, I think that this is an overreaction. I don't think any of this will stick. Okay, let me make a distinction here. I don't think this being the fact that AI is overhyped and this is the bubble burst. I don't think that narrative is going to stick. The narrative that I think will stick is the one that I've been giving you all along, is that this is going to be a tough year for the market. It's going to be volatile. It's not going to be smooth sailing. You can expect this throughout the year, right? The only thing that will take us back to a smooth sailing in the short term is if the Fed and the Treasury play along and start printing money again, right? If the Fed right now says our terminal rate is 3%, meaning we're not going to drop rates to zero, and we are not going to be buying assets. We're not going to be buying Treasuries. So if you look at the Fed balance sheet, and I'm going to get into plays in a second, just give me one moment to get through this preamble. But if you look at the Fed balance sheet, right, went from 9 trillion all the way down to 6.8 trillion. So if the Fed then starts buying assets, right, at the behest of Trump, if they start cutting rates more than they announced that they would, right, which right now, the Fed is only expected to cut once in June, and I think once in, is it October? October or December, right? So the expectation is that they'll only cut twice this year, right? And the expectation is not that they cut on Wednesday, but if they don't cut on Wednesday, you're going to hear it from Trump, right? Then what happens come March? What happens come May? What happens come June? So if the Fed goes back to easy money and aided by the Treasury, then I think that will give us smooth sailing in the short term, meaning I think the market will just keep doing this, right? If the Fed doesn't, that's the only thing in my view that can save the markets in the short term. And by save, I just mean a smooth ride up, right? Like a melt up, basically. If they don't, this looks like a nice setup here. If they don't, then I think we're going to see extreme rockiness. Now, I don't think that the DeepSeek news is going to hold. I think that this is just an overreaction. We were overheated. NQ had 3 RTH gaps that we didn't fill, which I talked about this in the live on Friday. But there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, right, on this path up after the inauguration, we have these gaps that were left behind, which is uncharacteristic. Typically, these RTH gaps get filled on the same day. And very rarely will you leave 3 behind. Now, RTH stands for regular trading hours. So when you're looking at the futures chart and you put it on RTH, all it takes is the close from yesterday and the open from the following day. So Asia and London session are ignored, leaving this gap. These gaps are usually filled within the day, sometimes the next day, but very uncharacteristic to leave 3. So this pump already overheated. Now you can see the NASDAQ is trading at 21,130, right? Meaning it's down here. By the time we open, it will have filled these RTH gaps. Of course, we will then have a large RTH gap here because of the gap down, right? So when NASDAQ opens here, you will now have a large RTH gap up here, but these ones will already be filled, right? So to me, this is just we are just going to be filling all those RTH gaps, but we're not out of the woods in terms of volatility because of the Fed meeting on Wednesday, and the fact that we have earnings on the same day, right? So while I do think the market is going to cool off here from crashing, I don't think we're out of the woods. I think we will continue to see volatility through the rest of this week. All right, let me say what's up to some of y'all. By the way, I'm streaming pre-market for you guys. Obviously, market open, I'm going to be taking it to the Discord. But you were right. Yeah, it's just probabilities, man. I mean, it's just probabilities in reading the market. Saba, James, Soner, Katia, what's going on, Katia? Juan de Almeida, what's going on? Abstract, Edward, Elusive Trails, George, what's going on? And all my friends laughed at me about my Baba option idea investment. Oh, well, sorry that your friends laughed at you. Would you buy NVIDIA? My NVIDIA buy is below $100, but yeah, I mean, certainly, this is a good discount. If you like the company, don't just buy shit. If you like the company, yes. Anyone else get a Replicanto error logging in? No, mine is working just fine. Daryl, Isaac, Austin, Prompted, Knockout, Alex, Striker, Carl, what's going on, guys? All right, so we have bullish divergence here between NQ and ES. I'm really tempted to go long here. Oh, you know what I want to check is do we have news today? And then I'm going to go through some of the individual stock names. No news today. Oh, this is a tough. Would be a tough day to trade, I think. Tomorrow, red folder, consumer confidence. Wednesday, obviously, FOMC, red folder news. Thursday, GDP, red folder news, unemployment claims. Friday, PCE, employment costs, red folder news. So today's the only day we don't have red folder news. All right, so NVIDIA. Right now, trading at 126. If you guys recall, the Japan currency drop took it all the way down to 90, right? That day we picked up quite a bit of NVIDIA. So I have a lot of NVIDIA shares. And I'm okay with that price point. I personally don't feel the need to dollar cost average in NVIDIA here. Now, do I see short-term plays? I personally wouldn't, unless you're buying leaps, I personally wouldn't buy short-term options on NVIDIA here, right? Now, if you've never owned NVIDIA before, yes, it's obviously down 17%, almost a bear market. You can dollar cost average here, but only if you believe in the company. Don't just buy ticker symbols, right? What do you like about the company? Do you believe in the AI story? Don't just buy it because it's the only name that you know. So I think that, at this level, yeah, you're at major support. We were actually here in December 17th, which is crazy because it's like a month ago. We were at the same level, right? So almost 20% down. I think it's a great dollar cost averaging point if you like NVIDIA. Now, we are very close to what moving average is this? Is this the 200 moving average? Yeah. I mean, look, buying blue chips at the 200-day moving average, right? If for an investment, not talking about a trade here, guys. The last time NVIDIA was at the 200-day moving average was January of 2023. So I do think that we can see a little bit more of a continuation here. Also, we have earnings this week, not on NVIDIA, but on other names that will give you a canary in the coal mine type of signal, right? ASML, Lam Research, Intel. Also, you have the names that are spending on AI, right? Meta, Microsoft. If we see a decrease in their CapEx as it relates to AI, then this will be a bigger story. Meaning if they're saying, oh, actually, we're going to cut back on spending for now. We spent too much on NVIDIA chips, and we are now going to just use what we can and try to optimize what we have and not spend further in the short term, right? Then I think NVIDIA suffers more of a hit, of course. So I'm not Nostradamus. I don't know. But if you are bullish on NVIDIA for the long term, meaning, 5, 10, 20 years, you see that this is the future. Yes, of course. Then buying a stock that you truly intend to keep for 10 years at the 200-day moving average is a buy. I personally think that trading short-term options here on NVIDIA is a gamble, right? Before this overreaction came out. Now, as I said in previous videos, if you are risk averse, you do not want to hold short-term positions this week. And this was before the DeepSeek thing happened, right? This was because of Trump versus the Fed, because of FOMC, because of the yield curves uninverting. I said you do not, if you are risk averse, you don't want to hold short-term positions going into this week. Long-term is a different story, okay? So I personally would not be buying short-term options on NVIDIA this week. The one name that I'm very interested in here, oddly enough, is Apple. So Apple showing insane resilience in the face of this, right? Already near the 200-day moving average. This is one that I think can benefit here in the short term because it's set up differently than, and in the long term, but it's set up differently than the rest of the names as it relates to AI, right? It doesn't have the same model as, say, a Meta or an Amazon or Google or Microsoft. It does utilize AI. It utilizes AI for its own products internally. So I am interested potentially in Apple here. I will have to think about this for a second and look at some things. I don't think AMD, once again, as I told you guys, as I've been telling you guys recently, I don't think AMD is a buy here. I think its chart is a piece of shit. And I will not believe AMD until it's above that 133 level, as I told you. Amazon looks interesting here as it is retesting. Amazon might be a long here, by the way. This might be one on the radar here that I'm interested in for a short-term options position. Oh, this looks so interesting. You can see this obvious bull flag here, a nice breakout, and then the news is causing us to retest VWAP at this trend line. This is a break and retest, and the news gave us an opportunity to achieve that. So Amazon is on my radar for sure. I need to write this down so I don't forget. Where is my shit? Oh. And yes, I still like to write things down because I commit them to memory a lot better than typing. Also, check out the notebook here. I don't know if you can see that. Is that focused? We used to sell these. I actually don't know what happened to them. Maybe we still have them. I don't know. But they're dope. So I'm going to write down Amazon is definitely on the table for calls. Amazon break and retest. So Amazon is on that list. Meta might be on that list too. Remember, I told you guys, you know, if this news story is to be taken at face value, that means that these companies are going to be spending less to do more with AI, right? So I don't think that the news story in and of itself is very valid, but it doesn't matter what I believe. It matters what the market believes, right? So if that is the market narrative, then I think Meta can be trading higher here. Again, another break and retest, same as Amazon. So I'm looking at Amazon and I'm looking at Meta. Apple, like I said, potential long-term opportunity here, surprisingly resilient. Microsoft is at a dollar cost averaging level here. Again, back at the 200-day moving average. It's actually been loving this 200-day a little too much. It's spent really since August. It bounces and comes back, bounces. So back at the 200-day moving average, just a dollar cost average here for me. Man, I can't wait to see what these VIX calls open at. These VIX calls will be, they might be at 500%. Because when I bought them, they were $1.82. And they are now $5 in the money. When I bought them, they were $1.82. And they're the 15 calls. And by the way, link is in the description if you want to join the trading and investing Discord. So these will be obviously at least $5 because they're $5 in the money. So yeah, they will at least be up 200%. But because they made the move in the very short term, like I bought them on Friday and on Monday, they're already $5 in the money. So that IV is going to take it higher. I'd venture to say these might be, actually, we can look at this. Hold on. Let's see if options profit calculator is actually right. If we go to options profit calculator and you look at the VIX, February 12th, 15 calls. $1.82. And now the VIX is Friday. Wait, what's today? 27? Yeah, they'll be up 200%. Fire. Do I think it's still a good idea to get some VIX calls? I think you couldn't pick a worse time to get VIX calls. What's the point of trying to chase? I don't understand it. The move is already made. So what are you trying to achieve? You think that you're going to replicate the gains of someone who got in early when it was not an obvious play? You think you're going to jump in and it's going to be the same? I'm honestly asking, because this is the type of thinking that kills retail traders. Would you buy more at open for the VIX? No. Have you ever short the VIX? Yes, but not using VIX. I would short the VIX using UVIXI. Okay, here's a pro tip. UVIXI is a perpetually declining ETF because it is a leveraged inverse ETF, and it has to continue to do reverse splits in order to stay alive. That's why if you look at its all-time high, it's like 500 million, okay? Because it just has to keep reverse splitting. So UVIXI is the one that you want to short, not VIX. So that's just a pro tip. Long the VIX, short UVIXI. Not at the same time. I'm saying if you are trying to short volatility, short UVIXI. If you're trying to long volatility, long the VIX. No audio, boss? That's your problem. There is audio. So I'm going to wait for market open, and I think there's a long opportunity on the NASDAQ for sure. We already have bullish divergence, but I think at open, we might get just one more flush down. And I think there will be a chance to long the NASDAQ, yes. YM and RTY might be set up for longs better, especially RTY. I really like the setup. I think there's a long on oil. But right now, the market is not moving. It is definitely waiting for the open. Look at all this consolidation. So what I would love at market open is I would love a manipulation down and then a move up. If it manipulates up, then we might be continuing down until FOMC. So every day at US market open, what are you asking? I assume you're asking about the stream? Yeah, I stream every day at market open in the Discord, yes. Sometimes I stream here pre-market, but yeah. I might buy some NVIDIA shares. Let me see how it's recovering here. Let's see what the extent of the damage was real quick. So it's trading at 123 at the lowest, and it's at 127. But if this news doesn't take it to the 200-day moving average, then this is a joke for sure. Tesla, I should have, well, I don't know. As I said in my video, I'm going to be opening up a strangle for Tesla earnings, but we'll be doing that on Wednesday. Yeah, so on Wednesday I'll be opening up a strangle for Tesla earnings because it reports on Wednesday evening, right? Yeah. So Wednesday before market close, I'm going to be opening up a strangle. So if you look at Tesla, it beats the expected move most of the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 9 out of the last 10 earnings, Tesla beat the expected move. No, I'm not holding Tesla. As I said, I don't expect Tesla to move before earnings. Sorry, I have Tesla shares. I'm not holding Tesla calls. Mid cap, I don't really trade. I don't trade mid cap or small cap. I just trade basically the same tickers over and over again. I think YM has a nice long opportunity. The market opens in 25 minutes. Yeah, so if you're just joining, the stocks that I'm looking at for short-term options plays, Amazon and maybe Meta. Not looking to play short-term options on NVDA, but I like the shares here. Tesla not touching until Wednesday. At that point, I'm opening up a strangle. Oh, ASML. Yeah, this is back at the level where I bought it months ago now. Oh, well, I think I bought it in November or December. I can't remember. But it's back at this level. To me, this is just a long-term buy here. Uber and Costco are two stocks that I'm bullish on, and crazy that, well, it's not crazy. They're not part of tech, right? So they're not suffering the same fate as the tech stocks. So still looking at those names. Still looking at holding calls on those names. Wish I wouldn't have missed the VIX call on Friday. I was busy doing Friday things. I don't know, bro. I don't know what to tell you. For those of you that are not in the Mastermind, I'm doing a free trading webinar February 2nd. Make sure that you sign up. You will not get the details unless you are on this list. 1,000 people capped. So the first 1,000 people get in for free. The link is in the description. So if you wanted to learn how to trade in 2025 because the opportunities are coming, and like I said, if all you know how to do is long calls, you're going to get murdered. So if you want to sign up for that, the first 1,000 people get on there. Free trading mastermind web. And it's live. It's not recorded. I'm teaching it live. There. Oh, Dallas. Congrats, man. Kenan says, do Friday things on Thursday. Yeah. Any interest in China stocks? Funny. SMCI down 12% since Friday on this news. Yes. So it's funny because I was looking at potentially getting an SMCI. But as I said, I'm waiting for it to break out of this, and thankfully it didn't. But yeah. Very curious to see. What I'm curious about is to see if NVIDIA gets bought up here. Also, I wonder what Trump will have to say about this this market crash. I'm sure he's going to be very vocal. If not already, I don't know. I don't follow that platform, that Truth Social platform. Super excited to see what these VIX calls open at, man. I'm thinking 200%. What do I do with my VIX calls at 15 for 2 Fridays from now? Jesus Christ. Should I sell immediately? What was your plan, dude? Like, honestly, what was your plan? SPY, bullish or bearish today? What do you think, bro? What do you think? Bullish or bearish? Down 4% on the NASDAQ. 2.5% on SPY. Is that bullish or bearish? To wait for even worse news? Bro, you should exit the market, bro. Sell your VIX calls. Exit the market. Go to Vegas. And take your gambling personality on the road. That's what you should do. You have no business being in the market, bro. You're just treating the market like a casino from your desk. That's all. No plan, no nothing. Just buy. What do I do? Buy. What do I do now? Buy this. What do I do now? Just take the show on the road, bro. Sell your VIX calls at market open. Go to Vegas. Exit the markets. Don't look back. And have fun. Because that's exactly how you're treating the markets. Yeah, I'm excited to see if I can get in. I might not buy Meta calls because they're reporting earnings this week, but Amazon, I'm going to be buying calls. One other thing I want to see is TLT. Rocketing today. So went from 85 just a couple weeks ago to now trading at 88. And it's all because the 10-year is dropping. So we see this head and shoulders here on the 10-year. Hopefully, this is the start of an absolute crash on yields. Because I'm tired of these yields going up, man. This is the first time in history, the Fed cut here. This is the first time in history that 100 days after the Fed cut, the 10-year is up and not down. The first time ever. Every single time after a Fed cutting cycle starts, 100 days later, sometimes, you will get a little bit of a rally, which I expected. I did not expect all this, right? But 100 days after the first Fed cut, every single time the yields were below. This is the first time it's above. So I think it's a good time to dollar cost average into more bonds. But as it relates to stocks, as I said, this is not a shopping spree environment, in my opinion. You have to be very, very, very selective here. So plan for today, looking at longs on RTY and potentially YM, looking to see if a long sets up on oil. Bank the VIX calls at 200 to 300%. The VIX calls that I bought on Friday. Potential calls on Amazon. This break and retest level. I would do the same for Meta, but they're reporting earnings this week, so I don't feel like gambling. But I will see if Meta, if there is an asymmetrical play for earnings. No. So I'm not going to be playing Meta for earnings. Buy for the very, very long term. Pick up some Apple here near the 200-day. If you don't have any NVIDIA, picking up NVIDIA at the 200-day for the long term, if you're bullish on the stock in the long term, this is where you want to pick some up at. This is a discount. Say fuck AMD, because always fuck AMD until it gives us bullish market structure. Man, I'm giving you guys some gems here. Do not buy the VIX now. You are too late. Just say bye to that and hope for the next opportunity. Tesla strangle on Wednesday. And potentially dollar cost average into bonds. There's the plan. Gave you guys the blueprint. Any questions? Would love to know what you think of selling CSP on NVIDIA. I'd like to own it anyways. Then yes, you're going to get some really good value right now because IV is going to spike and price tanked. So if you look at NVIDIA CSPs, you probably will be able to sell NVIDIA CSPs like in the hundreds, at 100, right? Or even below. You might be able to get some good value on CSPs at 95. Bond meaning TLT or TNX? TNX is just a 10-year index. You can't buy it, bro. If you want to trade live with me every day, click the link in the description. Also, join the free trading mastermind that I'm teaching live Sunday, February 2nd. First 1,000 people are in, then it's capped. That link is at the top of this chat, but also in the description. How do you decide between buying calls or selling puts? I don't. It's not an either or. They're completely two different strategies for two different scenarios. And sometimes you can have both. It's not like, what do I do? Buy calls or sell puts? What do you think about SoFi? Thoughts. What are good strikes for Tesla strangle? 25 delta. How far do you go out in time for CSP? Everyone's different. Some people like selling monthly CSPs because they want the monthly income. Some people like going far out because they don't mind sitting on their hands for 6 months. It's up to you. What do you think on Mr.? Thoughts? Thoughts on Dixie, please. Thoughts? What got you into UVixie calls on Friday? Not UVixie, VIX. Was there a level you saw break that increased your conviction? I just talked about this, but here's the alert. I said buying some VIX calls as a hedge next week since we have the first FOMC meeting under Trump. Last FOMC meeting, the VIX spiked over 74%. I'm not calling for a repeat, but with Trump already pressuring Powell publicly to cut rates immediately, and the fact that the Fed is not expected to cut on January 29th, I think it's possible we see some kind of spike in volatility. I'm personally buying the 15 calls expiring February 19th. So the obvious narrative of FOMC, and if you look at the VIX, we were just sitting at 14 for 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row, right? Same level since November, just basing out here. Then I looked at VVIX over VIX, right? VVIX is a measure of volatility on the VIX. VIX is a measure of volatility on the market. And when you see the spread rallying, right now it tanked because the VIX is up. But when you see this rallying while the VIX is basing and you're coming into a week where you're already expecting volatility, something is off there, right? That it is oddly calm for that. So that is the reason that I bought the VIX. Honestly, and if you look at the last FOMC meeting, it was this. And this was before Trump. Up 74%. So it was very odd to me that we were coming into FOMC and we were not heating up at all on the VIX, but the VVIX was heating up, meaning that it was showing us that there could be volatility on the VIX coming. So, yeah, is the FOMC today, bro? Just exit the markets, bro. Love from India. Love back. Much appreciated, Z. No problem. Do you think Y is bottom for SPY? I don't know what that means. Do we buy Tesla if you like the company? Can't find VVIX versus VIX. Okay. You just type in VVIX / VIX. And it comes up. Thanks, bro, for last night's video. Appreciate you, Maher. Thoughts on SoFi? Thoughts. Everyone's talking about DeepSeek, yet can't use it. Just talking how great it is. You can use it. You can download and use it right now, bro. It's open source. What do you mean you can't use it? I think it's an overreaction story, but you could still use it. It's not like you log in at DeepSeek and it shows up with Candy Crush. It's a real thing. Is it a good time to buy stocks for the first time? Depends on the stock. Yeah, some stocks are good nibbles here. If you think it's an overreaction, why are you telling everyone to sell? This fucking low IQ idiot. Who's this? TJ Mathis. Yes. Yes, I told everybody to sell, bro. That's what I did. TJ Mathis, if you can find me, if you can find a quote of me telling everybody to sell, I will wire your mother $100 for cigarettes. Okay? You just did? This fucking moron. Oh my God, bro. I was talking to the guy who said, what do I do with my VIX calls? And I said, sell them and go to Vegas. That's me telling everyone to sell? Bro, you know what? No. Fuck your mother. I'm not going to wire her $100 for cigarettes. She doesn't even deserve that. All right? Bank of Japan just raised rates end of last week. Is this the yen carry trade coming back? Yes. I cannot wait for everyone to trade in their AI degrees for their Japanese economy degrees. I can't wait. People don't even know what the carry trade is. And no. To answer your question honestly, no. I mean, I think it's all intertwined, but I think this has more to do with the conditions for 2025 volatility, right? Yield curve uninversions, out of control yields, Fed versus Trump 2.0. I think FOMC, I think this all has to do with it. And the DeepSeek story, tipped it over the edge. Obviously, a lot of this stock market valuation has to do with the AI boom. So there's going to be a narrative of an AI bust, right? So all of that put together, including, the small news story that was already expected for weeks that the Bank of Japan would raise rates, right? That was already priced in. So if you knew about that weeks ago, why didn't the market crash weeks ago, right? It's all of these other things in conjunction. What is this app? This is TradingView. It's the best charting app. You can find a discount somewhere in the description. My mother would like some cigarette money too. You guys are funny, bro. How else is she gonna buy her menthol? Says Breezy. Nah, she's not cool enough to smoke menthols, bro. You going live Wednesday here on YouTube? Yes. Okay, market's about to open in 5 minutes. So I gave you guys the blueprint. That's what I'm looking at. Go back and watch it. Take notes. I'm going to go live for the Discord in 5 minutes. If you want to join us, that link is in the description. For those of you in the Discord, I will see you in the Discord. But yeah, going to go live for market to open on the Discord. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully I entertained you while also giving you some valuable thoughts. VIX calls going to print like crazy. And yeah, I'll see the rest of you in the Discord. Sign up to the Trading Mastermind. First link here in the chat. It's also in the description. If you want to learn how to trade this year, I'm hosting it for free. Appreciate you guys. Peace. And fuck TJ Mathis and his mother.